Okay, now listen. I wasn't going to say anything, but when Sin talked about how some species have already evolved beyond men, I had to pause the video, if you remember, the commentary on Sinji. Because not only was she right, but baby, nature been doing this. And if you think I'm exaggerating, I invite you to keep watching. Let's get into it.
Yes, I fall in love with myself and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.
So, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana Patrice, and this is my channel, Black Fairy Tingz. And around here, we deconstruct the patriarchy, we explore spiritual freedom, and ask questions like, do we actually need men anymore? Today, we're diving into the science behind a concept that shocks many people, but it really just is biology to others. Have certain species already phased out males? The answer is yes. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about why. So let's get into why this conversation matters. This conversation isn't just about science, it's about power. Because for centuries, patriarchy has claimed that men are the head of everything: society, family, even creation itself. But if nature, the literal blueprint for life, can thrive without them, what does that say about all these man made systems built on the idea of male necessity? Now, before y'all stop typing no and cursing me out and calling me outside my name, I'm not saying we throw all the men in the recycling bin. But I am saying let's follow nature's lead and ask the hard questions. So, what are the hard questions? Let's get into it. And I want to get into parthenogenesis, right, which is solar reproduction, right? So, again, parthenogenesis is a fancy term for when females reproduce without males. No sperm, no sex, no problemo. It's common mostly in insects, reptiles, and some sea creatures. But we've also seen in it blah blah blah. We've also seen it in birds and yes, actually even sharks. This isn't science fiction, y'all. It's science facts. These organisms aren't rare freaks of nature either. In some ecosystems, it's actually quite normal. So let's get into the species that have already done so. One of the species is called the whiptail lizard. Um, they're kind of like the bad bitches of the Southwest. Entire species of them are 100% female. They reproduce by cloning themselves, literally creating genetic copies. Even more interesting, these ladies still perform mating behaviors with each other, not for fun, but to stimulate ovulation. They've turned sex into a ritual of sisterhood. Okay? Who needs men when your girlfriend's got you, right? That's what it's like for that particular species. Another one is, and I don't crucify me. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. It's called beddeloid rotifers. I know. These microscopic queens, okay, have gone 80 million years without a single male. They clone themselves, yes, but they also steal DNA from bacteria and fungi. Like, imagine being so evolved you just borrow genes when needed. These are not basic organisms, they're survival masters. Next on the list, Komodo dragons. Even some reptiles, we consider beasts, they can go it alone, and Komodo dragons are one of them. Under the right conditions, they can reproduce without a male, like when they're isolated in captivity. It's not their default mood, but it proves that even large, complex animals can switch up their method when necessary. Okay, nature's just flexible like that. Welcome to the sacred space I've been building, a fairy touched refuge for deconstructing harmful teachings and reclaiming our inner power. This isn't just a Patreon, it's an enchanted meeting ground where curiosity is holy and questioning what we are taught is an act of liberation. Together, we unpack Bible stories, deconstruct religious control, and make space for the divine voice within ourselves. If you've ever questioned what you were taught or felt like your questions were dangerous, this space was made with you in mind. Join me on Patreon and let's do this sacred work together, unlearning, reclaiming, and rising in full fairy power. Another one. Sharks. Yep, sharks. The bonnethead sharks and zebra sharks have all shown the ability to reproduce through parthenogenesis. We've seen it happen in aquariums where males were no longer present. If apex predators can do it, who's really essential in this ecosystem? Okay? So, why does nature do this? Right? Like, how does this happen? So, it's actually really about efficiency. Parthenogenesis is faster. No need to find a mate. No energy spent on courtship or conflict. Just reproduction and survival is pretty much what it comes down to. This works best in stable environments, um, where pretty much diversity isn't needed to adapt. It's nature saying, "We good over here, baby. No need to complicate things." Of course, there are trade offs. Asexual reproduction means less genetic variation. So, in rapidly changing worlds, sexual reproduction has benefits. But the point is, nature keeps the option open. And in many cases, the male isn't necessary. So, we're about to get spicy. Could humans evolve this way? Biologically, we don't reproduce asexually, obviously, but scientists have already experimented with mammalian parthenogenesis in mice. Some experiments have even led to births, though not without complication. There's also work being done to create egg cells. These are from stem cells, and some labs are trying to make sperm from female cells. Yes, this is real. And then there's the Y chromosome, which has already lost about 90% of its original genes. It's tiny, it's unstable. And we'll get into that in my next video. Yeah, I really want to get into that, but we'll just keep this about this for now. But it really raises a real question. Is nature slowly replacing males? We'll see. So let's be real. This idea terrifies the patriarchy because so much of its power rests on controlling reproduction, from purity culture to abortion bans. It's all about who gets to make life and under what rules. If women could reproduce without men, entire systems would crumble. That's why stories about unnatural reproduction get labeled as witchcraft or monstrosities. But nature is clear, y'all. Life adapts, life goes on, and sometimes it goes on without men. The gag, it already has. So, are men being phased out by nature? Not quite. Not yet. But the fact that nature has already moved beyond them in some cases, that should humble us. It doesn't mean men are bad, although I do think a majority of them are. It means evolution doesn't care about ego. Okay? It cares about survival. And if survival someday no longer requires the male, well, nature will do what it does. That being said, I want to hear from y'all. Had you ever heard of any of these species before? Do you think we're headed that way, where our future are menless? Okay? Do you think it could be optional? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this with your favorite biology major, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And if you want more like this, join me over on Patreon, where we're breaking down these conversations even deeper. The next video that I'll be placing right here on YouTube is all about the shrinking Y chromosome, and you don't want to miss it, okay? But until next time, stay curious, stay magical, and I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Yes. I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.